slide visible? Can you please post an yes in the chat box so that I can get a response? Homeschoolers are usually on and off. Yes. Okay, Salihat. Thank you for the response. So today we are getting into the topic preparing for vacation, parent edition. So what do you think about this? Why is vacation time different for us parents? Is vacation time different? If so, why? If it's not different, then you can post no. As Fatima Hasina was saying, for homeschoolers, there won't be much of a difference. What about others? Why is vacation time different? Not much says. Fatima, Bustana says it is different. Okay. Why is it different, Bustana? What about others? Lubna, Rifa, Saliha, Ramsi, Mida. Okay. Yes, it is. Need to keep it active for kids, says Muhammad Mustafa. Okay. Saliha says kids around not going to school and they want to enjoy and end up fighting. Okay. Lubna says each vacation is different. Lubana says 24 into 7 parenting is too much to handle. Shamim says it's different because we get a lot of time with kids. Okay. So we need to plan kids friendly trips. Definitely, vacation time is a trip time and handle a lot of out of the routine days, right? And naturally demands more tantrum from children, more gadget time, and most importantly, they learn quite a lot of things from us during this period. Agree? Okay, Lipna says because kids have new plans. So even without us, they learn a lot from us during this period of vacation. So in today's session, we are getting into these 6 key areas, basically knowing how to plan kids friendly trips, what all we need to keep in mind, and how to entertain them. And we'll be discussing quite a lot about gadgets today because that is a concern that many of you raise. And also, we'll be discussing about tantrums, routine, and how you are modeling what you need to be take care of during this period. Yes, Mira says lengthy screen time. Samaya says out of ideas to make the day productive each day. Okay, Samaya, I have something for you today. Okay, so let's start with trips. We'll be discussing a few points to keep in mind while you plan a kids friendly trip. And the first one among that is visit kids visit places where kids are interested in. Majority of the time, visiting one relative after the other, moving from one home to the other, visiting relatives and friends, that can be quite boring to children. And naturally, they start showing tantrums as a result of them getting bored. So, it is very important to include places of their interest, such as zoo, museum, parks, etc. And the second is let them know what to expect in the trip. How it goes a majority of the time is we'll be excited to go for a trip, they'll also be excited, but once we start the trip they'll feel like no, this is not the trip that I expected. They'll have a lot of expectations from their side. So let them also know how many people you'll be visiting on the go, at what time they'll have to wake up and get ready, when you'll be going to the areas that they are interested in, like park or zoo or wherever. So informing them about the schedule previously will help them adjust to this better. That is the second point that we need to keep in mind. Involve them in packing and planning. Whether it be a 2-year-old whom you have or whether it be a 15-year-old, involve them in planning for the trip, planning and also packing for the trip. And you can involve your kids in all the chores in the house as early as possible, so that at a small age itself they become a part of all the things that are happening in the house and they become active contributors in the house. And preparing for a trip is something that they really enjoy doing, so make the best use of that opportunity. Fourth one, be prepared with entertainments on the journey. So bring in entertainments for kids during the travel. Consider books, toys, or other activities to keep them occupied. And during the trip, while they are in the car, you can collect a few word games. For example, the ones that they can, play without any props that are needed. For example, if one person says the word car, the other can say a word that begins with the ending alphabet, which is R. So it is important that everyone, including you, also participate in games like this, because it shouldn't be like, why can't you play something? Why can't you engage yourself in something? Why are you irritating me? That shouldn't be your overall attitude. Just make sure that you are also involved in every game that you plan for the child. And next is be flexible. Set your expectation rightly. Traveling with kids will never ever go paka as per our schedule. It depends on their mood, their physical conditions will affect the trip, and be ready with the right expectation from our end, because we are dealing with little humans and it's not dolls that we handle. So we have to deal with these, and how we deal with these in the unexpected moments will also matter a lot to the children. So these are the things that we need to keep in mind while planning trips with kids. Okay, should we entertain kids 24 into 7 during vacation? Are we supposed to entertain them? Okay, Saliha says no. Okay. So, in fact, allowing children to have free playtime and encouraging them to come up with their own activities, that can help in building independence in them, help in building creativity and also problem solving skills. So we run out of ideas. And when kids are small, we can plan a lot of things for them. Maybe download a few worksheets from online from different sites and keep them engaged. But as children grow older, we see that we really run out of ideas, and there is no time for us to Google every time and come out with something interesting every time. So, this is an idea board activity that you can do with your children. Just at the start of the vacation itself, you can discuss with your children what activities they enjoy doing. hmm, And you can also help them make, by pouring in your suggestions. This can involve your children may suggest a few things. You also suggest a few things what children can do during their free time. And it can involve games, art and craft, cooking, reading, exploring new hobbies or interests, learning a new skill or a new sport. It can be anything. So create a long list of ideas and bring it into the idea board. They can even, taste a mild sense of entrepreneurship by selling something they make, like a lemonade or craft item, be it anything. So come with ideas like this, and in a chart paper or in a board or even in a big book, you can create this idea board with a lot of collections. Both you and your child brainstorm together, Google, and come up with a lot of ideas. So that is going to be the idea board. And whenever you hear them saying, all throughout the vacation, you may hear at times that I am bored, that voice you'll hear. And when you hear that, you can take your child to the idea board, ask them to pick one activity from that and do it. Okay, so that is the idea board activity, which will naturally, it is a one time effort, but it will naturally bring in a lot of ideas from the child as well as from us. Maybe both the parents can contribute and keep the things ready so that there is no need of, Googling and going behind what activity will I engage my child in every now and then. Now, coming to screens. Vacation time is not equal to screen time, because during the pandemic, we all made a big mistake of allowing unending screen time to the children, and we all started regretting it in quite a short span of time. So at Crink, we have guided, n number of parents, n number of families with this issue. So keeping these memories fresh in our mind, let's not make this mistake again during these 10 days. Liba, can you please? Yes. Okay, so engage them in other activities like spending more time outside, playing physical games, engaging in creative projects, and being connected with real people in the real world. This will promote their social skills, emotional, as well as will encourage physical development in them. And it is a fact that we cannot avoid screens completely. And that is why we need to keep in mind a few rules related to screens. We'll be going to explore 10 rules that we need to keep in mind and implement in the family when it comes to screens. The first thing is, when you're giving your phone, you give it happily. It shouldn't be like, oh, you're always asking, go take it for some time. Okay? So when you're giving, just give it happily. Okay. We'll discuss more about that, how you can be happy while giving. And the second thing is, make sure that you don't give it after they start crying for it. If you initially say you cannot use it now, and then once they start pleading and crying, and after some time you let them have it, what kids learn is they learn that I can always cry for something when my parent says a no to it. So the next time, even if you don't fall into their cries initially, but still they'll keep trying, keep trying, keep trying until they get it. So avoid giving it to them as a result of their pleading and cries. That is the second point. Now, the third, this is another question that we get quite often. How much is healthy screen time? So these are the recommendations by the Indian Academy of Pediatrics. It says, for kids who are less than 2 years, they don't recommend screen time at all, except for occasional video calls with the relatives. And for kids who are 2 to 6 year old, it is recommended that their screen time falls less than 1 hour. And it also mentions that the lesser, the better. And for older children, this is what it says. They need to balance it. They need to have at least 1 hour of physical activity, adequate sleep, family time, meals have to be proper, school works are to be done, they need time for their hobbies, and they should be able to balance everything. That is the requirement. So it's a discipline that they need. Not just kids, it's same with us also. We also need that kind of a discipline where we don't compromise on relationships because of our phone, where we don't compromise on our basic duties because of the phone. Okay, so a same kind of balance is what we need from the children. And to bring this discipline over screens and to establish point one and two, that is to give them happily and to avoid giving them when they cry, to have all those discipline, have fixed, predictable things when they use the screen. It shouldn't be like randomly letting them have it whenever you feel like. There has to be a predictability regarding the timing. For example, every day from 9 to 10, you can use it. Or it can be like the duration is fixed. Any time of the day, but for 1 hour you can use it. So set the time rules along with them. That is very important. Setting the timings. It is not like you are dictating that you can only use the screen for 30 minutes. It shouldn't be like that. Whatever rule you are setting, make sure that your children are also actively involved in it. It's not dictating. If you need help in learning how and why you can how you can involve your kids and make rules together to avoid the power struggle, you can always contact us. We do train parents on that. So when it comes as a part of a joint decision from us and the children, they also contribute to the rule setting, then there's a greater chance that they follow it. They won't take it as a as an order from a police. They'll feel like, okay, they'll feel an ownership for that. I am the one who set the rule. That will be their mentality, and there is a greater chance that they stick on to it. That is the fourth point. Have predictable timings. Predictable timings either like from 9 to 10, or it can be the duration that is predictable. Next is, don't attach privacy to screens. Use it in a common place like a hall where everyone can walk in any time, and the screen shouldn't be facing against a wall. It has to be such that anyone who walks in the room should be able to see the screen. This is another thing that we need to establish to protect the children online. And similarly, no gadgets to the room during the night time. A majority of the children ask for phones during the night time because they want to put an alarm clock. They use it as an alarm clock. So if it is for that purpose they are using, please buy them an alarm clock. Don't entertain taking the phone to their rooms. These are small steps that we can take now to protect them in future. The seventh point is no unattended searches by kids. Searching is something. This is something that I've implemented here in my family, and that was really helpful. Whenever they have to search something, it is we adults who search for them because spellings can go wrong. They may end up in unwanted things. Let's just avoid all those chances that are there. Initially, actually, it will be very difficult for us to go and search everything that they need, but then that effort is totally worth. Okay, so when it is time to search, it is an adult who searches, either of the parents. Eighth one is the content that they watch. Make sure that the content they watch online is beneficial, or if not, every time you cannot make sure that it is highly beneficial, but make sure that it is not causing a damage. Please do avoid those kind of fun videos where they are exposed to words in comedy that are not age appropriate. Give the videos only if you're sure that if they repeat these words to someone else at some other point, if you're completely okay with that, give such videos. And also another point that we need to make sure is please avoid watching reels with them. Don't give it to them to, scroll unendingly. Watching reels which are very short span and scrolling it, that can bring down their attention, and also it can affect their studies also. Apart from that, they may land in content that we are not quite sure of. We don't know what the next reel is talking about. So please keep these two in mind when it is when content is concerned. Next is when restricting screen time, always talk in the side of the child, like, oh, today's screen time is over, let's wait for tomorrow. It's not like your screen time is over and I won't give you. These are two same things that we are saying, but we can construct it in such a way that we are also on their side and we are talking. And build a positive bond with the child such that they can take in the rules that we are setting. So make sure that your relationship is based on bonding and not based on rebel and power struggle. And finally, set a good example to them. If you're always watching reels and fun stuff and ask them to stay away from it, they can't. While on a trip, while you are in the dining area, if you're always on phone, they'll also have that internal trigger to long for it, right? To crave it. So pick and choose your screen time. It's good to have screen-free zones like the dining area, bedroom, etc. Just think about it. And um, Mustafa, this will be, we have 6 points to cover and we are in the third point. So pick and choose your areas where you use the screen. It will be difficult for us to have that discipline when we have a phone which we can use at any time, but that will bring down the quality of our relationships, and especially how children copy it is something that we need to consider. Maybe if the children are small, we may not realize that now, but when they get a phone of their own, we'll start rethinking. But let's take those steps very consciously now itself and set a good example of when and where and how we use the phone. So if you need any further helps regarding screen time and to set the screen time of your children, you can always contact Crink. We are helping out parents in that area. So another thing that we struggle with during the vacation time is tantrums. That's something that we are going to face. And in a majority of the case, once the child is throwing a tantrum, we deal with that in such a way that we keep correcting what the child is doing. Maybe he's crying aloud, we ask him to stop crying. If he's throwing things, we say things are not to be thrown, that will cause damage. When you give plain rice, the child asks for fish curry. And when you pour fish curry, the child says, I want plain rice. In such moments, we always focus on what the child is doing or what the child is saying. But In every moment like this, what we have to be actually doing is focus on the why part. Why the child is doing what they are doing. That is focus why they are doing it. There will be some sort of a disappointment or a frustration behind what they are doing. And we need to completely focus on that feeling and acknowledge it. For example, you can say, I get it, you are finding it hard to adjust to your friend moving to another school. Just keep aside what they are doing. They may be crying aloud, they may be throwing things. Just keep that aside and focus on why they are doing it. For example, seems like you are sleepy, baby, now. You didn't like your toy being snatched. Don't bring in the point that you have to share. That is an instruction that we are giving them, and keep that aside during the time of tantrum. Okay, were you sad when I scolded you? That can be the reason sometimes, right? So just focus on what they are feeling at the moment and make comments on that in such a way that the child feels connected to you. So focus and acknowledge on the feelings that they are going through, and don't focus on what they are doing until and unless it is highly dangerous. Okay, if they're doing something that is highly dangerous, just pick them up and move from that situation. Unless it is so important like that, don't focus your energy on what they are doing. And there is a lot to learn how to manage tantrums, and those who need Crink support in this can leave us a message. The best part is that Crink services are not generalized. Now when I talk to you, it is a generalized solution that I give, right? But Crink's support that we give parents are one-on-one, which is highly beneficial because we take in each situation that you are facing and train you on handling it. And also, in a majority of the time, we dig in deeply and find out the real cause why this is happening repeatedly, and try to address that root cause, which will help you out in completely uprooting the struggles that you are facing. Okay, so in case you want Crink support in any of these areas, you can, yes, fill the form that Shruti has posted in the chat box. Let's moving on to routines. Regarding routines, this is just my humble opinion that I am putting forward here. You can have your own. So this is a time, vacation time is a time when kids just go out of the normal routine. And normally parents say if it's vacation, they won't sleep on time, they won't have food on time. And to an extent, I would say that let them go out of routine. Let them play more, let them chill more, let them hang out with their friends and cousins. We also used to do that, right, during our vacations, and this is the time when we can let them have it, because during the normal time when they have to go to school, when they have a lot to study, we cannot let them like that. And so if possible, I would say it is best to leave them like that during this vacation. I would request you to leave them like that. um, Keep your restrictions for the important stuff. That also matters a lot, because don't get into that mode of policing them for each and everything that happens, because when we do that, kids slowly start rebelling to everything what we say. So we need to be very conscious of what we pick and choose as a battle. So pick and choose your battle. If this is something that you can let go for the moment, please do it. But if you struggle to set the routine on regular days, then that has to be attended. Okay, when it comes to vacation time, but I guess this is something that you can let go, at least for a majority of us. If that is the case, please do it. And coming to the last one, it is modeling. During vacation, this is even more important because kids are more in interaction with us, with dads and moms, and it is important to recognize that kids are always observing and learning from us, even when they are not conscious about it. As parents, we have to be mindful of our words, our actions, and our thoughts. Why thoughts? Because our thoughts come out as a words and actions later, right? So um, these all have a powerful impact in our child's life. If you think about our childhood, most of the things that we were exposed to in our childhood, that comes out naturally from us when we are in a crisis. Maybe the first reaction that comes from us when our child does something that we don't expect, it will be just like how what we saw in our childhood or what we experienced in our childhood. So everything that you feed them, that is highly important. So by being conscious of what we do and what we say, we can teach our children very important life skills, such as how to interact with others, how to keep up the calm even in difficult times, how to the way you interact with a stranger, how you keep a distance at the same time you deal with them nicely, how you talk about a person in their absence, hmm, and how you react to a crisis. These are all things that they learn unknowingly, and it helps them build their character. So, at times, even if we want to be calm, we may not be able to. Maybe due to issues from our children or from outside struggles that happens. But that is okay if it is happening once in a while. Just check out the majority days, how the majority days are going. And if you feel like no, the majority days are not going in a fine way, it doesn't go in a way that the child can, you know, copy, then you need to take support. So, whether it be a friend or a professional support, please aim in solving your issues if that is affecting how your child is perceiving. So, with that, we have come to the end of the session. So, just a small introduction of Crink. We are here, we have been here in the space for nearly 3 years, helping parents handle the challenges related to parenting. And we do have one-to-one support. That is, it is not just like in today's session, it is a generalized solutions that I give. But Crink's main offering is the one-to-one support that we provide, where each parent has a session with has multiple sessions with the parent mentor who will be analyzing the struggles that you're going through and finding the root cause and help you out tackle it over the weeks. Okay. And every step that we fix is such that it suits a working, busy parent. So if you can contribute 30 minutes per week to change your parenting, to do some steps that we are suggesting with your children, then this will be the best platform to change your parenting. Okay. We do provide support in your time management. We help you improve bonding with your children. Uh, in fact, we do focus a lot on bonding with your children because that is the foundation which has to be set for building anything. Whether you want to manage their screen time, whether you want to reduce the fights between the kids, whether you want to get them to studies, this is the foundation. Build a strong bond with them and have the relationship, keep the relationship in such a way that the child values you and respects you and takes in your opinions. Okay, then everything else becomes easier. We also help you in building habits, and building responsibility in children, in making them independent, anger management, a lot of things. Okay, so do seek support if you're struggling with any of these. Thank you all for joining. If you have any doubts, we can go ahead with that. Any doubts, you can post in the chat box. And to get Crink support, you can fill the form that is posted in the chat box. That is what we discussed about planning, including them in planning and also packing. Okay. We have a few questions here. Okay, Ansha, good to know that all points were relevant. Any good parenting control apps suggestions? I'm sorry, I don't use any. Please suggest some kids-friendly destination inside Kerala, Lubana. We can get in touch. We would like to hear yours also, so that Uh, Mehreen says the session was helpful, short and lovely, especially setting rules with the screen time. The points were very helpful. Okay, Mehreen, good to know that. Salih, I make my kids clean their cupboard and they study table during vacations. They also um I'm sorry. Okay, and also they donate unused clothes, sort them so that the elder ones give their clothes to younger ones when it becomes unfit for them. Nice, Soliha. These are all wonderful activities to do with the children during the vacation time. They also get into the cleaning habit, and also donating is another beautiful factor. And to Asna's question, why I don't use any uh, parenting control apps is because, see, you can use it if you feel that it is important. There is no objection about that. But Another aspect that I feel is that shouldn't be the only thing that is preventing them from, landing up in something unwanted. So I've taken the other side. We can approach it in two ways. uh, I've approached it from the other side, like I make sure that they don't end up in that, by educating them about online safety, and also making sure that they don't search on their own, and a few other steps like that. Okay, and even if we use some apps, at the same time we need to educate them and bring them that awareness about online safety and what is allowed and what is not, because even if the apps are there in place, if the child wants to, they can definitely crack it. So build that moral value from behind in all the ways possible. um, yes, that is it. Any more questions? Okay, I guess that is it. Then we can wind up. Thank you all for joining. I hope there was takeaways for you from this session. And if you need any further support from Crink, you can definitely contact us. Thank you all. Take care.